Well, legally speaking, the Deshaun Watson situation could be far from over. The Associated Press is reporting that a league source told them that the NFL would likely accept the league's appointed disciplinary officer's decision if Sue Robinson were to recommend a 6 to 8 game suspension. But Browns beat reporter for Cleveland.com, Mary Kay Cabot, is reporting that's not true.
Yeah, so 3 News legal analyst Stephanie Haney joins us now with the legal side of these different reports, and they are vastly different reports.
Someone's right and someone is definitively wrong.
That is absolutely true, which is the case with all legal issues, and it couldn't be more different, the aspects they're taking here, because these 2 reports are both centered on how the NFL feels about appealing any decision that Sue Robinson hands down. It's based on the appeal. So the Associated Press is reporting the source says the NFL wants to avoid the appeal process, calling it a terrible situation for everyone involved, and that could be because Roger Goodell will have to either make a final call or appoint someone, and either way, that could be very messy. But Mary Kay Cabot is reporting her league source says that's not the case at all, that the NFL is not afraid of the appeal scenario, and the NFL is not budging on its recommendation that Watson miss the entire 2022 season for alleged sexual misconduct during massage therapy appointments.
Stephanie, we know that the NFL is pushing for this indefinite suspension of at least a year. Where did that come from? Where did they decide a year or indefinite?
Yeah, this is an important question because I think people have a misconception that it came from nowhere. But the NFL personal conduct policy specifically calls for this in certain cases. I looked at the 2021 NFL personal conduct policy personally, and if we look at accusations of criminal assault, which sexual assault is criminal assault, and remember, no charge or conviction is required here. Penalty for 1 violation is a minimum of 6 games. So we hear that 6 to 8 range. That might be where that comes from. But a second violation calls for that indefinite suspension, which is what the NFL is asking for, with a chance to apply to reinstate after 1 year. And the key word there is will, not may. Will means it is required. And this could turn on how Sue Robinson interprets second violation. Does it mean another violation after this hearing is said and done? Or does it mean just a second instance of the conduct? So remember, the NFL is looking at 5 accusers here. So you can see how that could easily be interpreted, not only if there is a violation found as 2 violations or up to 5 violations.
So the settled women, they are not factored into this decision that's coming.
I know that they're looking at 5 specific cases, and I don't think any of those 5 accusers are the women who have settled. I think that's right. Of the 5,
I do know that 2 were involved in the criminal cases in which charges were not handed down. So, but as for, we don't know which 5. We don't know if the 5 are all in the 20. Are they, because there are now 4 pending cases. So there would presumably be at least 1 that has already settled her claim.
Okay, that's very confusing because there's so many different numbers going around.
Absolutely.
Right.
Regardless of what the NFL decision is, do you see Watson's attorney going back and suing?
I think that's highly likely, Jay and Betsy, because his attorney is Jeffrey Kessler, and Kessler is known for suing pro sports organizations and for winning those cases. Over the course of his career, he's gone after all 4 major pro sports leagues, the NCAA and the Olympic Games. He was involved in bringing free agency to the NFL, also successfully argued in front of the Supreme Court against the NCAA's restrictions on student-athlete income. He's represented the NFLPA on behalf of Ray Rice, Ezekiel Elliott, Adrian Peterson, all domestic violence cases, Tom Brady and Deflategate, and the Bounty Gate players. So despite the fact that this is all happening outside of a court of law, if Watson is found in violation of the code of conduct and is not happy with the final result, this whole thing easily becomes another lawsuit.
I would say you can book it. He will. That's his track record, and the NFLPA brought him specifically in because they know that the league fears him and his reputation. So it could get very messy, I'm afraid.
I think could is on the lesser side of what we should see. I think it's probably going to get very, very messy.
Sounds like it already is, and we're just getting worse. Thank you, Stephanie.
Thanks.